you. Can't take an old soldier by surprise.
Morning, Major Crumb.
It is, if you don't mind enemy invasions.
I beg your pardon.
Didn't you get my message? Received intelligence of a major air assault. Expect the sirens to sound any minute. Hope you know where your nearest air raid shelter is.
I do recall something about that, but Major Crumb, are you sure you're not mistaken?
I know. I've made predictions before, but I'm not crying wolf. This time, I've got proof. You're looking at my case, aren't you, Wallace?
Well, I suppose I was, Major.
Bet you'd like to know what's inside.
I am curious, yes.
This case is packed full of government-issue protein bars.
Protein?
Rations, Wallace. Emergency rations for... emergencies, obviously. Been stockpiling them since the war. Enough nutrition in them to feed a man under fire for a whole day.
And very tasty they look, too.
Tasty? They're foul, but packed with high-strength protein.
I'd love to try one.
Out of the question, I'm afraid. You don't have clearance. And besides, protein bars are only issued in the event of civil emergencies. Orders are orders, Wallace.
A jar?
It's what's inside the jar that counts. Incontrovertible evidence that the enemy is on the move.
Does it? I can only see a snail.
Of course it's a snail. But what's she trying to tell us? That's the important thing.
What is she trying to tell us?
Look at her, man. She's retreated into her shell in the middle of the day. And that means only one thing. It means she knows trouble is about to strike from the heavens. Law of nature, Wallace. Learned it in France during the war. Never wrong yet. Good man, Wallace. I see you at least appreciate the seriousness of the situation. Now, spread the word. If people don't believe what an old soldier has to say, perhaps they'll listen to the snail. Have you delivered the message? Have you shown them the snail?
I'm not sure the snail will convince them, Major Crumb.
If she doesn't, the air raid siren will. But by then, it may be too late.
It's got squirrel tracks in it. That pesky rodent must have been at me toast again. He certainly is crackers for toast.
Panier's produce.
Hello, Mr. Pannier.
Wallace, how's that honey order coming along?
Oh, smashing, just smashing. It's a honey of an order, all right. What was the quantity again?
50 gallons.
50 gallons. 50 teaspoons would be easier.
You won't let me down, will you? I don't want my respected festival of crumpets turning into a mad crumpet rumpus.
Oh, no, Mr. Paneer. Certainly not. Goodbye. Last night's bedtime snack. Gorgonzola makes a nice change from Wensleydale. Time for a nap. Oh, no, better not. Phew, that'll put me right to sleep. This callpox has been a boon for Gromit. No matter where he is in the house, he's never far from his master's voice. So that's where the dog tags went. I'm sure Gromit will be glad to get them back. Silicon flowers. Can't feed those to my bees. They demand the organic variety. What's that? That looks like the flyer I picked up in the hall. Why would Gromit throw away an important piece of correspondence like that? Me porridge gun. Could prove fatal if it fell into inexperienced hands. Oops. Great news, Gromit. I found those dog tags you misplaced. Now you can walk around looking official. It isn't like Gromit to be so absent-minded. I just found these on the floor, Gromit. You really must be more careful. He dropped them again. What's wrong with that dog? You lost them again, Gromit. One could almost believe you dropped them on purpose. It isn't like Gromit to be so absent-minded. I realize this may seem a trifle irregular, but Major Crumb insisted I show you this. It's... oh.
A snail? In my garden? Have you lost your mind, Wallace?
I'm not sure, to be honest.
Have you noticed? I put a new roof on Mr. Nutter's house.
Mr. Nutter?
Surely you're acquainted with our neighbour, Mr. Nutter, the squirrel.
I'm not on first name terms with any of the neighborhood animals, I'm afraid.
What about Gromit?
Oh, no, he isn't either.
You've come buzzing back, Mr. Wallace. As a bee to a blossom, eh?
Not a good idea, that.
Ah, Mr. Wallace. Mr. Wallace, I've got something for you.
Much obliged. That looks like... Can it really be cheese?
Indeed it is, Wallace. Wensleydale, your favorite?
And am I to take it that these are...
Yes, free samples. Go on, tuck in.
Don't mind if I do, Mr. Paneer. One for now. And one for later. May I have another, Mr. Paneer?
Go ahead, Mr. Wallace.
Nature's pick-me-up.
Have you come to deliver my order?
It's not quite ready yet, I'm afraid.
You're not going to disappoint me. Not after yesterday's little incident.
Oh, no. You can count on from me to you.
Don't forget, Mr. Wallace, 50 gallons by sunset.
Ah. Now that's a fine-looking postbox. It would make a good chassis for my honey-powered vacuumatic, but that's tomorrow's project. Pity it's closed. Oh, I could murder a sausage roll or two. Wonder if the landlord would be interested in subscribing to my honey service. No sense in looking for new orders when I haven't fulfilled the first.
Hey up, Wallace, love. How's business?
That's nice.
So, Wallace, in the honey business now, I hear.
Oh, you've heard the buzz, have you?
Oh, indeed I have. It's all over town.
It'll never get off the ground. Stupid idea, if you ask me.
And nobody did.
Couldn't get honey out of a honey jar, that one.
Excuse my husband. He's a right misery gut sometimes.
Mr. Gabberley.
Gone away. Went to Timbuktu. Won't be back until spring.
Mr. Gabberley.
Kindly call again during opening hours.
When are opening hours?
Opening hours is when we're not shut.
So, might you be interested in signing up for my honey deliveries, Mrs. Gabberley? Fresh daily.
Ooh, I should say so. I'm partial to a spot of honey for my tea.
Waste of money. We'll never see honey for tea. Or breakfast, for that matter.
Oh, shut up, you. Wallace knows what he's doing. He's got a head for business.
Is that a head? I took it for a parsnip.
Pay him no mind.
Uh-oh.
Hey, it's not closing time yet.
If you'd like to sample my honey, Mrs. Gabberly, there'll be a free tasting tonight at Mr. Panier's Tea and Crumpet Festival.
Oh, is that so? Well, I'll have to pop by.
I wouldn't bother. He'll never make the delivery.
Those be... I couldn't help but notice the flowers on your window ledge, Mrs. Gabberly.
Aye, lovely, aren't they? Bring a touch of summer to the town square. Especially the purple pansies. Always been partial to pansies, me. You should see the flat. It's full of them.
Blinking weeds, if you ask me. Can't abide them.
Oh, go and suck a lemon, you moaning ninny. Oh, now look what you've done, you clumsy oaf. And open up that window when I'm yelling at you.
All right. But only to prove your insults don't get to me anymore. I can deflect them all.
Is that so?
I'd be happy to take these flowers off your hands, Mrs. Gabberly. That is, if they make your husband unhappy.
That's a good reason to keep 'em, to my way of thinking. But go ahead if you want 'em.
Much obliged. Pardon me, Mrs. Gabberly. I wonder, that is, could you spare a...
Verb.
Sorry?
Give me a verb, Wallace. An action word.
Oh, playing a word game, are we?
In a manner of speaking.
Oh, well, let's see. A verb. What about batter?
Ooh, I like that. That's a good one. Now I need a thing.
A thing?
Aye, you know, something physical you could touch.
Something I can touch. Mouth?
Why not? Now a descriptive word, if you please.
Greasy.
Oh, that's a corker, that is. Last one, nearly done. I need another thing. Or like a person or animal.
A person or animal? Now, let me see now. Mouth?
Yes, that's a thing. Hey!
What is it now?
Go, batter! Your mouth, you greasy mouth!
Hey, me mouth is me best feature. Thanks for noticing.
A good solid insult, I thought. But maybe we need to think different.
That was an interesting word game, Mrs. Gabberly.
Want to play again? I need a word, Wallace.
How about cheese? It's one of my favorites.
No, an action word.
Oh, yes, an action word. Oh, there's melt.
Fine, that'll do. Now a thing, if you please.
Right, A thing. Gentleman?
Why not? Now a descriptive word, if you please.
Spotted. That's a descriptive word.
You're good at this. And finally, a person or a thing.
A person or a thing. Put down prune.
Yes, that's a thing. Hey!
What is it now?
Go, Mount! A gentleman! You spotted prune!
Referring to me liver spots, are you? Beauty marks, I call them.
He's proud of being nasty, that's the problem. But maybe that's his weakness, too.
You've got quite a vocabulary, Mrs. Gabberly.
Another round now. Give me an action word.
What about batter?
Fine, that'll do. Now a thing, if you please.
Right, a thing. Toad?
Why not? Now a descriptive word, if you please.
Mild?
You're good at this. And finally, a person or a thing.
A person or a thing. Gentleman?
Yes, that's a thing. Hey!
What is it now?
Go, batter! A toad, you mild gentleman!
Hey! You do know how to wound a bloke, Winnie.
Got him that time. Serves him right for being such a grumpy old grandad.
Would you mind, if I, that is, could you see your way fit to lending me that pot of pansies, Mrs. Gabberly, for business purposes?
Business purposes? Well, be my guest. I've got bunches of them.
Oh, there's Miss Sniffer 3000, banged up like a common criminal. Oh, breaks my heart. That cheese detector's not a bad machine, just a bit overkeen. It's all the energites in its system. Energites? It seems to me, yes. Energites is one of the ingredients in Rex Armstrong's quick-grow muscle formula. I used my last Energite battery to fuel the sniffer. I'll have to get it back if I want to finish the formula. Fear not, my little cheese-sniffing friend. Soon have you out of there. Oops, missed. I already did that. The sniffer's just trying to get to the cheese, but the machine sounds like it's crying. Oh, almost brings a tear to my eye just watching. I already did that. Must be awfully hot under that helmet, I reckon. A sunny day like today.
It's a trifle sweltering, yes. But danger and discomfort are all in the line of duty for an officer of the law, though most folk don't appreciate it.
Can you see fit to grant my appeal, Constable Dibbins?
Not on your Nelly. That heap of nuts and bolts is now but trouble. Couldn't give me a single straight answer when I tried to interrogate it.
It only responds to certain commands. I know, I programmed it. Perhaps you could try a gentler approach?
I'll have another chat with it. More friendly-like.
Oh, yes. Oh, much obliged, Constable Dibbins.
I ain't promising nothing, mind. Time we had a little chat. Look at me when I'm talking to you. That's more like it. Now you've had time to think, what can you tell me about what happened yesterday? Feel bad about what you did, do you? He's weeping. Maybe this contraption's got feelings after all. Now, I want a truthful answer. If I release you from custody, will you do it again? Well, I'll be damned. The prisoner has been interviewed.
Yes?
And having exhibited signs of repentance, I am prepared to release him into your protective custody, provided, Wallace, you give me an assurance that you'll keep your blinking eye on him. Or it. Or whatever he answers to.
Oh, I'll keep an eye on him, Constable Dibbins. You have my word on that.
Ah, Mr. Wallace. The sky is blue, and still it rains on yours truly.
Drop that tea bag, you tyke!
And you can drop your fist, Mr. Wallace. You've come buzzing back, Mr. Wallace. As a bee to a blossom, eh?
No flowers in here. I wonder what happened to his little cricket bat. Cold toast. Shame to let it go to waste. our little fella. Try some toast.
Yes, do feed him. I'm sure the little mite's hungry. What are you looking for exactly? You're persistent in your attentions this morning, Mr. Wallace. A pot of purple pansies? And mine haven't bloomed yet.
Felicity is partial to purple plants, I think. Miss Flit, if you would be so kind as to, hand me that tea bag.
Tea bag, Mr. Wallace? What tea bag?
The one on your,
Are you feeling quite well, Mr. Wallace? What is it, Mr. Wallace?
I need that tea bag.
I see no tea bag.
Right, there.
Where?
Sitting,
Sitting?
on your,
My what? The man is quite mystifying sometimes.
Miss Flit, if you'll just take a look at the pansies, I think you'll...
I told you, Mr. Wallace. I refuse to let those yellow hooligans have the satisfaction of... Oh, purple. You see? They're mending their ways. They just needed a firm talking to, that's all. Mother forgives you, you naughty little pansies. Sweet satisfaction, Mr. Wallace.
Yes, indeed. Very sweet. I wonder where Major Crumb disappeared to.
Wallace, thank heavens you made it to the shelter. I'd given you up for lost. Caught in the crossfire, were you? Stop pacing about, Wallace. You're making the rest of the men nervous. You've got to get your mind off the carnage up there. Would you like to hear one of my old war stories? I'd help pass the time.
Well, I hate to...
Of course you would. I brought visual aids. I can still see it perfectly. After all these years, it was toward the end of the... There I was.
Pardon me, Major. About those protein bars of yours.
Rations, Wallace. Emergency rations for... emergencies, obviously. Been stockpiling them since the war. Enough nutrition in them to feed a man under fire for a whole day.
And very tasty they look, too.
Tasty? They're foul, but packed with high-strength protein.
I'd love to try one.
Out of the question, I'm afraid. You don't have clearance. And besides, protein bars are only issued in the event of civil emergencies. Orders are orders, Wallace. By George, this is an emergency. Private Gromit! I hereby issue you one protein bar. Guard it well, and see that it lasts you all day. Wallace, here's one for you as well.
Much obliged.
Back with my men, back in the thick of it, marching along under the blazing sun on a January day. I can still see it years. It was toward the end of the war. There I was, marching with my regiment across those God-forsaken plains. It was... Wait! Careful, Wallace. You are heading into hostile territory. The enemy has clearly landed, and most likely set up camp in West Wallaby Street. Who knows what the blighters have done to our once peaceful neighborhood? If you make it back alive, you'll have to give us a full report. In the meantime, eat your protein rations. The protein will keep your strength up, especially if you're captured. Brave lad! We'll keep the home fires burning. Anyway, I was peeling the apple when a bomb went off in the distance. I'm not positive it was a bomb.
Now, there's a sight.
That's me posing with Mother next to my 40mm Bofors. Look at the size of that monster. Big Betty, we called her. The gun, not my mother.
Who's that fellow?
That's me as a young recruit, off to basic training. How I cried when they cut off my golden curls. But I cheered up as soon as they issued me with a beautiful set of dog tags. Best useful dog tags if you happen to forget your rank or name. You've got it right there. Never go into battle without your dog tags, Wallace. As
What a face!
That's me kitted out for heavy combat. That helmet took many a dent before the war was through. Without it, I could have become seriously loopy. Take my advice, Wallace. Never go into battle without a regulation helmet like the one in this picture.
Sounds like you were quite a soldier, Major Crumb.
Well, Wallace, why the past tense?
Oh dear.
Once a soldier, always a soldier. Something you civilians will never grasp. And I'd be happy to prove it by charging into the fray. That is, if I were recommissioned and had a proper helmet with a cute little brim, and if I could find someone to take charge of this shelter and distribute the protein bars.
I wonder if I might trouble you for...
One of my protein bars? Thought I gave you one already, but never mind.
Terribly kind of you. Gromit could do the job.
Private Gromit? Can I entrust my precious cache of protein bars to a Pongo? Perhaps so. He's proven himself a trusty foot soldier. Yes. If I am called away to the front, I'd feel comfortable leaving Private Gromit in charge. But I haven't been recommissioned.
Gromit, old chum, slip me that protein bar Major Crumb gave you.
You'll do no such thing, Private Gromit. I gave you your protein bar for the day, Wallace. I won't have you catching another from the enlisted men.
Quick, Gromit, the protein bar.
I warned you, Wallace. As long as I'm officer commanding this air raid shelter, each resident gets one protein bar per day. You've had yours.
I need flowers for my machine, Major Crumb. It works on flower power.
Not one of those wretched hippies, are you, Wallace?
My workers are very devoted to their queen.
The unfairness of it all, Wallace. A born fighter like me, stuck in this shelter while battles are raging overhead.
You can go if you like, Major. Private Gromit can oversee this shelter and dispense the rations.
Yes, that's all very well, I suppose. But I'd need a good sturdy helmet with a cute little brim like the one I had in the war.
much sums it up. Can't think why the bees are so sensitive about it.
Ouch! What did you expect, Wallace? You can't snatch a soldier's helmet like that and not hear about it.
My workers are very devoted to their queen. I found these in the hall, Major Crum.
Dog tags! I've been recommissioned. Bound to happen, of course. Can't leave good military material sitting on the shelf. My place is in the trenches. Yes, that's all very well, I suppose. But I'd need a good sturdy helmet with a cute little brim like the one I had in the war.
I thought you might find this useful, Major Crum.
A helmet? By George, Wallace, there's nothing like a good helmet. Makes a fellow want to put himself in the path of projectiles. If you know what I mean. Good heavens. I shouldn't be skulking around in a cellar like a frightened rat. I'm a soldier, by thunder! Private Gromit, I hereby appoint you officer commanding this air raid shelter. Here, you pass out the rations. I've got a war to win. Charge!
I'd better double-check the recipe. Yes, that's the lot. Protein, energides, and strongium. Everything I need to whip up a tip-top growth formula. Hey! Plans are proceeding apace, Gromit. Just a few kinks to work out, and we'll soon be up to our necks in honey. Carry on. One unit of energide fluid for a creamy finish. Wouldn't be prudent. One dose of strongium into the mix. One generous chunk of protein to give it texture. Now to mix up my very own quick grow muscle formula. That ought to do it. No, the mixomatic's all mixed up. Stop! Stop! Help! Gromit! Oh, thanks, lad.
Checking to see if anything's sprouted yet, Mr. Wallace.
Well, as a matter of fact, Miss Flit,
Really? I don't see what you're hoping to... Oh! I don't believe
it
it!
works! It works! The homemade quick grow miracle muscle formula works! We're in business now. You see, Gromit, look where a bit of enterprise can get you. If I hadn't found that flyer you chucked in the bin, I'd never have been able to concoct my Miracle Grow formula. And then where would we be? You really must be careful what you chuck out, you know? Blinking Nora!
Oh, my word! I think I'm going to faint.
This ought to be plenty of fuel for the old pollinator. Bon appetit. Oh. Not exactly a flood, is it?
That's champion, that is. 50 gallons of honey and just in time for my annual tea and crumpet festival. Pleasure doing business with you, Wallace.
Always aim to please, our bees. That's the last of our bills, Gromit, and we've got just about enough left over for that little holiday we've been planning. This year, I fancy Blackpool. Oh, yes, lad. I think our money troubles are over at last.
Air raid! Air raid! Battle
Oh, dear.
stations everywhere!
Not this again.
Excellent vantage point. Prepare for a crash landing, you devils! Sorry, Wallace, but I'm going to have to commandeer your dining room.
Now, just a minute, Major Crump.
No time to argue, old man. The whole town's under bombardment.
But
Here they come!
wasn't it, Gromit? Giant bees!
Heaven help the good citizens of West Wallaby Street! Civilians out!
But
That's an order, Wallace. Private Gromit, kindly escort this civilian from the battle zone.